name is Donna Fiesel.
And I'm Cathy Tillery. Hello, hello.
We're your hosts of The Edge with Donna and Cathy. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. 1 p.m. is when we begin.
That's right.
Now, that's Central Time, right, Cathy?
That's right. 1 to 1:30. And then stay on the channel if you're watching this on Abundant TV, which you can find on your Roku, because Donna comes up right after we do on the afternoon drive home.
Yeah.
And she always has some great interviews.
Yeah, well, we got some good stuff going on here, too, because we're going to be talking about several different holidays are coming up. Okay, it's going to be here before you know it. We're already almost at the end of September.
That's right. That's right.
So we're going to talk about some safety tips, how to stay safe during the holidays, because sometimes us women are out there shopping by ourselves, right?
Yeah, and the months of September and October, this is the good time to go out and get your Christmas shopping done early. So Donna's got some good tips for us today.
Yeah, but let me tell you something you can do. There are a lot of great festivals are coming up. So you got a lot of harvest festivals and stuff coming up. Calhoun County is just overloaded with them.
Oh,
Marshall
yeah.
County,
do you know when one's coming? I know October 1st is the big Oktoberfest in Oxford, and that's on the Main Street Drag.
And that's good because you get some great, like crafted stuff, one-of-a-kind gifts that if you go to a big department store and everybody gets grandma a present, you're going to run the risk of everybody getting grandma the same thing. You know what I mean? If you go to a big department store. But if it's a crafted item, well, then it's going to be a one-of-a-kind.
Yeah, and they have a lot of, I bought a few wreaths there before.
Yeah,
there's some real pretty Alabama, Auburn. Yes.
So go out and get your Christmas shopping done early. That way you're not waiting until the last minute. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is when you wait until the last minute, you're on the frenzy, right? You're getting all just like shaky and everything because you want to get all your Christmas shopping done. And sometimes you're not really careful. Sometimes you're not aware of your surroundings. You're not paying any attention to what's going around you. And so that's why we want you to shop early, okay? And that because Phil and I like to do at least one gift right before Christmas, okay?
Right.
We just like the frenzy of it. You know, just one gift. We've already done everything else. And so we like to do just one. And that way Phil's with me and I don't have to worry so much. But women, it's a safety issue, okay? So you really, really have to be careful.
You sure do. And with the malls, make sure it's lit. And Johnny, you've made out a little list for some safety tips for us. Go for it.
First of all, make sure you can carry the load, okay? First of all, don't have so much that you're trying to get it into the car. And I'm going to tell you something that management and employees will do for you. If you do go to a big department store and you feel a little weird, maybe somebody's been following you around in the mall or somebody's been following you around in the store, and it's just a little suspicious, if you'll tell them, somebody will walk to your vehicle with you.
Right.
Yeah, they'll do that for you. I don't care how busy it is, because if it's safety, they're going to do that. Another thing is a lot of people will say, I want to park like right up at the department store. I want to be like right
at the door.
You can't always get that. And I'm going to tell you why, because everybody else is looking for that too.
Everybody wants to park to the door.
Don't park in the handicap. Please don't.
Don't do that.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah, please don't, because you know, people have a handicap sticker or a little tag from their mirror. They need to be able to park closer to the door.
Well, I'm going to tell you where I like to park. I like to park close to the carts. And it's really neat because if you park close to the carts, what you're going to be able to do is unload your groceries without unloading, then finding where do I put the cart. And please, as another safety issue, please put the cart back up, okay? Because you may cause somebody else who's in a hurry, just like you are, to hit a cart and maybe have an accident. So park as close to a cart as you can, unload your things, have your keys inside your hands like this. I mean, these are your keys.
Hang on to those keys.
Hold them. No, Rick Staines, you say that all the time.
Right. Hang on to those keys.
Hold on to them. And then that way, if somebody comes at you, you can use that as a weapon. But go ahead, unload everything, be close to the carts, shut the trunk, shut the door, lock the door. It's worth that extra precaution, okay? Because somebody can go rummaging through while you're trying to put the cart away.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
You know, there's another one, and I know you know this one, and that's not to park close to a van. Why would you not park close to a van?
Well, you know, there's a lot of trafficking going on, and when you park close to a van, you know, it's really easy for them to just shove you right in that door and they're gone.
Take off.
So make sure you tell your teenager daughters, sons, even males, sadly enough, it's both sexes, I think, that's
it
happening
is.
too.
Yeah.
So it's really bad.
Super
And you can get like pepper spray. You can usually pick that up at Walmart. And you can pick that up at like Dick's Sporting Goods, sporting goods shops. A lot of them have a little pepper spray to keep in your hand.
Cathy, I've seen your handbag. That's a weapon.
Oh, yeah. my purse is so big, I could just
and it's heavy. I hope she doesn't accidentally hit me with it. But yeah, I mean, use anything that you can.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Is your purse. Yeah. You could smack them and run, you know. The biggest thing is having enough time to get away.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I suggest the pepper spray. But remember, you only have a few seconds even with that. So, you know, if you spray it, you don't need to fumble for your keys. You need to run back into the store.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell
the
you
best
something
thing
else.
to do.
So one of my friends in Charlotte, North Carolina told me about this, because I also had a store in Charlotte along with the talk show. And so this guy comes in, he says, and we're good friends. And he said, Donna, I worry about you being here in the store, you know, close to the holidays. He said, because everybody's crazy when it gets close to the holidays. And what happens is the thieves will look for you to be, you know, frustrated because you're trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done. You're just doing this, you know. And he said, you keep your handbag, I'm sure, under the counter. He said, keep 2 handbags under the counter. And I said, 2?
2?
Because sometimes they'll just ask you for your handbag and they'll run out. And they'll give you time.
Oh, really?
He said, just get some
bag
and just put a bunch of stuff in it if it's nothing but rocks, so that it feels heavy, okay? Not that you're just giving them an empty handbag.
Right.
So he said, just put a bunch of rocks and stuff like that in it, you know, and maybe an old billfold you don't want, so that, because they'll look real quick, see if there's billfold in it. And then they're on the way out because they don't want to get caught. And that will give you plenty of, if you're working at a store, do this. Keep an old fake handbag under the counter. And then,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then while they're out there thinking they got the goods on you and they hope to steal your identity or whatever,
you're locking the door and calling 911. Wouldn't you go lock the door right quick so they couldn't get back in? I would. I'd lock the door.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go.
Or I'd hide. I guess you could hide.
Yeah.
I think you could do that too. But also, you know, with fall coming up, safety's big, that we have to watch, you know, what we're doing in the parking lots and all. But also, be aware of cold and flu seasons coming. Flu season's coming. You know, we're having to deal with COVID. There's a lot of children. There's 2 big viruses that are actually really kind of, you know, running pretty wild right now in the children. And that's the enterovirus and the rhinovirus, because a lot of these children didn't get exposed because we were in the lockdowns and all that during the COVID time. Now all the children are getting back together, and now they're seeing a lot of that, you know. And in New York and some of the states, you know, there's cases in every state, I think, now of the possible polio. But so get your children vaccinated. I know even if you're against COVID vaccines or flu vaccines, please get your children vaccinated for polio.
So I didn't realize that was making a comeback. You know, it used to be a big deal back in the 50s and the 60s.
Yes, and what's terrible is that polio was eradicated. We did not even have a polio cases in the United States, probably. I mean, there might have been a freak one here and there, probably, if you read up on it. But I want to say it was like in the early 70s that we actually stopped, you know, that like with smallpox. There was no more smallpox, you know. I don't even know the last year. I think smallpox vaccine was given, I want to say, in the 70s. My children didn't get vaccinated for smallpox. We did. Me and my husband did.
Remember that booster shot you used to get?
You remember the smallpox is the thing that they stuck you in the arm and it made the pattern.
It made a kind of a line.
Yeah, it made like a pattern. It was as
hard as a rock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
They don't do the smallpox vaccine anymore, but now I guess maybe they are because of monkeypox. So, you know, if you think you've been exposed to monkeypox, you need to contact your doctor or go to your public health department because they know exactly which one they're giving.
What are the symptoms for it? Why would you think
they're giving some people monkeypox vaccines, I think, And then some people smallpox vaccines because it's like the same family. But chicken pox is another thing. We're not seeing as many chicken pox. You don't hear of that as much because a lot of children have been vaccinated for the chicken pox. But you're seeing a higher uptick. I know it of shingles. Well, shingles is the chicken pox family. So
I've had the shingles before,
and it's not. They say you can catch it over and over. Well, basically it lies dormant in your central nervous system. So, but now you can read up on all that stuff, and it'll explain how the chicken pox is related to the shingles. A lot of shingles is brought on when you read up on it. It'll probably tell you in the articles an immune response. I know I actually had the shingles as a young adult.
I had them about 10 years ago, right here on the board.
Oh, did you? Well, I had a horrible case of the flu that year. And I was exposed to a little girl that had chicken pox during my job in college that I was doing at the time. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, my side wasn't killing me. And the doctor said, "You've got the shingles."
Oh, boy. That stuff's not fun.
No, it's painful. Hurts. How long did yours last?
About a month or so.
Yeah, now, but you just recently had it as you were older. I was young, so I basically had the pain where the shingles were coming, where the little puscle
it
type
felt
things
like
were
almost
coming.
like little I don't know, little
needles.
That's what it felt like,
yeah.
little needles. And it caused me to have a headache because it was right up here, right on the
yeah. Well, mine hurt really bad on the side.
It made a line. It was kind of like a line.
Well, it followed the nerve.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what they do, yeah. The old saying is shingles can't go all the way around you. And that's why, because shingles follows a nerve. It's the nerve is inflamed. The virus is basically saying, "I'm here."
Oh, well, see,
you didn't forget about me, but I'm here.
Our pastor's wife was a nurse, and so she said, "You better be careful that doesn't get in your eye." Because it was like right at it. And she said, she said follows that nerve.
Follows the nerve.
That's what she said. I remember she saying that now.
Yeah, but the thing is with shingles now and chickenpox, they're respiratory viruses. So the good thing was during COVID, flu was down, chickenpox was down, shingles was down.
No heart attack.
Yeah, because of the fact that everybody was wearing masks. So now this winter is probably going to be a pretty tough winter. So, just be prepared. Get your flu shot if you like taking the flu shots. Of course, I used to always take my flu shots. My children used to always take the flu shots because of my middle daughter. But I actually had a little bit of a reaction, a good bit of a reaction, actually, in 2017. So I've not had a flu shot since then. But until then, I'd had a flu shot probably for 25 years, every year. And I'd not had the flu really bad. You can still get the flu. It's not an eradicating vaccine, the flu shot is not. It just helps the symptoms.
I usually get sick when I get the flu shot.
Yeah, it just helps the symptoms, But you can't get the flu from the flu shot. That's a myth. But
then why do you feel weird? Because I feel like I'm getting the flu.
Well, that's because your body's reacting. It's an immune response. It's reacting to the flu shot. That you're building some antibodies to it. But now there's all different kinds of flu shots out there now. There's like the quadvalent, and
how do you keep up with it? I mean,
there's
how do you know which one?
Well, the best thing to do is ask your pharmacist. When you go to the pharmacist, you need to tell him, okay, I've got a heart condition, or I've got diabetes, or I work in a doctor's office, or I work in the supermarket, and this is my health history. That way they know exactly which vaccine that they need to actually give you. Now, they probably will push COVID booster shots with flu vaccines this year. And of course, that's totally up to you if you want to take one, because a lot of people have had it. A lot of people maybe only took the first 2 primary shots, and they may have had COVID since then, or else they're just waiting to see kind of what happens, So that's every individual, however you want to handle that. But just be aware that the little kids around grandparents, you know, like I'm a grandparent now, but little kids, my granddaughter, praise the Lord, she does not go to daycare yet because the way my daughter works her nursing shifts around me and her husband to help her with my granddaughter. But a lot of people can't do that. So just keep that in mind when your child comes home with a runny nose, cough, you know, those little bitty common viruses. It might just be a little common cold, which is like the rhinovirus. But an enterovirus, you know, sometimes that's why it's called entero. Because it's a GI virus. Or sometimes that's the way it starts, you know.
Just be careful.
Upset stomach, throwing up, nausea. You don't want to make your grandparents sick.
No, don't do that. So, these old grandparents.
Yeah. So don't make your grandparents sick. So if your child has symptoms of those things, you know, like most schools, go with those policies. Fever-free for over 24 hours. No nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea for 24 hours. Keep your child at home.
Just use common sense.
Yeah.
Just use common sense.
Take them to the pediatrician. Take them to the urgent care. Because right now in Alabama, our ERs are full. Because a lot of people are going to the emergency room instead of going to their doctor's offices. So if you have, you know, you think it's just a cold or seasonal allergies, or you need to get a physical or a vaccine, go to your regular primary care physician, or as I call them, the doc in the boxes, urgent care clinics. They can all take care of you. They can x-ray your foot. They can do all that, because then that frees up our hospital workers at the ERs and the hospitals to take care of the strokes, the heart attacks, the people that have COVID or flu that can't breathe and they're coming in. Those need to be the priority patients they're working on. You know.
Let's talk a little bit about identity theft. Because if you're not careful, you're in a hurry. You're holiday shopping, so you're trying to get all this stuff done.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what, I have watched people get just a little bit too close that I felt a little uncomfortable. I'm paying for something. I'm putting my card in, you know, my credit card and my debit card in. And maybe they're kind of looking over your shoulder just a little bit. Be careful with that person. So what I do is I get my hand and I cut my hand just like that. And I'm putting my card in there like that.
So you're covering it.
I'm covering it. Be really careful. Because sometimes some people have a photogenic memory.
Right.
And they can look and see that whole card number.
Yeah, and they'll remember it. Oh, yeah.
Or if they've got their cell phone just a little bit too close to comfort for you, they're probably not up to any good. So it's just cover it, do something like that, because you do not want your identity stolen.
No.
Because what if you're using your credit card and you're putting everything on the credit card, or your debit card? It's even worse. Credit card, by the way, I would much rather use my credit card during those holiday shoppings, because you can get something like that straightened out a lot quicker than using the debit card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you use the debit card, you got to call your bank.
Credit cards usually, if it's fraud, you can usually call them and they take care of it right away.
They'll just wipe it out, and then they'll go on ahead.
Yeah,
and they'll do a little investigation and get that going for you. But be super careful. So that's what this says right here. Especially if you shop online, be really careful there.
Right.
Practice real solid internet security, okay? Try not to use an open, like go to a restaurant or something and shop while you're at a restaurant using their internet. That's not a good idea, because it can be encrypted too much. And choose companies that you really, really know and you trust, okay? It's okay to use Amazon. It's okay to use, like, say, your big department stores is okay. Sometimes you have to worry about shipping with it actually getting there on time. So shop early.
Right, because me and you've already had that just recently.
Oh, my goodness. We shopped for a computer for Phil. And so he needed to update his computer system since he's doing all this stuff here, you know, for the shows and everything. And so we were told we would get the computer by Friday. We're thinking, man, Friday night, all weekend. Well, guess what? The guy actually just came to the door and left a note and left. Didn't even knock on the door, and said we were not here.
And he was here. Yeah.
Said we weren't here, but we were. We were definitely here. And that's another thing. I have a security camera. You know, if nothing else, if it's not activated, that will deter people. If you just have a camera up there and say smile for the camera,
right,
a lot of times that'll deter somebody.
And you know, you can get those cameras anywhere now. You can get them at Target, Walmart, Amazon.
We have Simply Safe, and I really love Simply Safe because it records, just like the guy who said we weren't here. He put that on the FedEx. It was FedEx. I've already fussed them about this. So we were definitely here. As a matter of fact, it said it would be delivered anytime on Friday. We didn't go anywhere on Friday. We stayed here, thinking we'd get that computer in. You know.
Wow.
So be really careful shopping online.
Well, mine was supposed to be just regular mail delivery, I think. I had purchased an order. It was just something very small. And I got the message on my phone that had been delivered at 4:03 p.m. But guess what? I have a security camera. And there was no package at 4:03 p.m. There was no one at my house. So I actually checked the mailbox just to make sure it didn't get put in the mailbox. And no package. So I had to call the people I bought it from, and they were trying to track it down. I still don't have the package. It's been a week. So I don't know if I'm going to get it or not.
We had the same situation. It took about 2 weeks to get that straightened out, but it did. It was straightened out.
Well, but see, sometimes it's through the vendor. But you know, like you purchase it.
Walmart.
Yeah, like I purchased it through them, but then they had to notify the people that sent me the product.
Well, I'll tell you what probably happened. This is what happened to us because we ordered something through Walmart.com.
Right.
It's something we couldn't find locally, or we would have bought it locally.
Yeah.
And so I would much rather shop. I would much rather go to my friends and neighbors at their stores and shop. So, and I always call to see if they had whatever I'm looking for.
Right.
But that was not the case. So anyway, what happened was that vendor from Walmart put the wrong tracking number down. It went to another customer. That's why it showed it was delivered.
I wonder if that's what.
As I'm sure.
Well, you know, it said the guy I spoke with actually through Walmart told me that I needed to possibly chat with my neighbors.
Yeah, that's what.
And see if it got delivered to one of my neighbors' house. But you know what? No neighbor.
Well, they showed it was actually it was this one vendor. So what he did is he used my tracking number to somebody else somewhere else in Geraldine and bought something from him.
Oh wow!
And so it wasn't even my product.
Oh
it
wow!
It was there. He hadn't even shipped it out. So anyway, Walmart worked with me, and I got it straightened out. Now another thing that you want to do, there are scam artists all over the place. We all know that. And what they do, if you're working checkout, small mom and pop, or you're working at a big department store, try not to get frustrated because there are people who sit on a bench and they look at the cashiers who look like they're frustrated.
At the cashiers?
The cashiers. And what they do is their dirty work. So what they'll do is they may get your as a shopper, they may get your tracking number and your routing number to your checking account if you still use checks. And,
wow, really?
It happened to me. It happened to me. We were living in Charlotte.
Wow.
And so it was actually somebody who worked at the power company.
Are you serious?
Got the routing number,
that's bad.
and put a fake name and everything. But what they did is they went to one of the department stores and checked out with a woman who looked like she was highly frustrated. She was new there. She wasn't used to all these folks coming out.
Wow.
So she was just really like this trying
nervous.
To get everybody to check out.
Yeah.
So she didn't pay close attention to the check. You know, it was a fake check.
Fake check.
So be really, really careful. When you're shopping online, be careful that folks aren't looking over your shoulders. Be careful when you're shopping online. Well, if somebody sends you an email, and it could look like Amazon.
Right.
I mean, it really could. And they say, click here for this deal. It's going to be like 75% off. First of all, if it sounds too good to be true, I'm sure it's too good to be true.
Right.
Okay. So be really careful clicking on links. The best thing to do is go to Amazon.com, just type it in yourself. Don't click the link and see if they're running that special.
And, you know, the other thing is, like, when you go through drive-thrus, make sure, because you're using that debit or credit card, make sure they give it back to you promptly. And it's not like taking them... Like, if they take your card and you still...
a picture of that card.
Yes, that's right. If they still have not given you back that card and now you're getting your food before your card back...
Somebody's doing something to it.
Somebody be very wary. Because all they've got to do is take a picture of your card front and back. It's that easy.
I really love working with a small bank. The Liberty Bank right here in Geraldine is one of our sponsors. And they are absolutely awesome. So let me give you some tips on using a small bank. Okay, the best in the world. All I got to do is pick up the phone, not be put on the hold 50 years. So somebody finally gets back in touch
That's
with
right.
me.
Yeah.
So what we do before we take a trip, we usually go see Brad and Larissa or something. You know, we'll take a little trip, and I always call them when I'm going out of state, even if I'm going to Lower Alabama.
Oh, I do that too. We have Noble Bank in Calhoun County,
Oh,
and
please call
actually all over Calhoun County now.
If you call them,
That's
just
what
let
I
them
do.
know you're going to leave.
Right.
Because while it gets suspicious if they start seeing, and this is the wonders of working with a hometown bank, they're going to get suspicious of all of a sudden there's a lot of charges going on, and you've taken a trip to New York, you know, and then they're like, oh, somebody's got Donna and Phil's debit
cards,
you know, and then it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and call your credit card companies and ward them off and tell them the same thing, you know, that you're going on a trip. But now when you get back home, make sure you mention that you are back home, okay?
Right. Because, you need to call and let them know. Or if you're going out of the country, make sure you do it. Oh, especially
if you're going out of the
country.
Because
what'll happen if you go out of the country on a trip, then guess what happens? Your card won't be usable.
Well,
and then you have to call back to the United States.
That's going to take forever.
So it's actually really good to use credit cards if you can going out of the country.
I'd rather use my credit card than my
or a very large bank. Like now we don't have a Bank of America, but we have Regions banks, which are throughout different states. We've been out of the country
with this bank right here in Geraldine. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call them.
Just tell them.
And I talked to Nancy. I went to school with Nancy down here.
Right.
Nancy was the cheerleader, majorette, and all that stuff. Beauty queen, all that stuff. But anyway, so she works there. So I just called Nancy and said, Nancy, take care of this for me, please. We're going to go. We're going to see Brad and Larissa, and because she knows me.
Right.
And so and that's the wonders of working with a small bank. Liberty Bank, go ahead and check them out. They have other locations as well.
Right. And one other thing, we were talking about safety earlier. Okay. So back to safety. We're talking about credit card safety right now, but back to the safety issue. Something that's very good to do is actually that you can do on your phones. I know the iPhones. Now the Androids, I don't think they can do it, but or they can. I don't know. I've not studied that. But the iPhones, you can actually put in your location and share it, which is very good. I did it with my children.
I do that when I'm taking a trip by myself. And I'm going somewhere, and I'll go ahead and send, and you can do it through GPS, and you can send the destination so he knows where I'm at. So, and I'm not doing anything crazy, so I want him to know where I'm at. So just in case something happens, what if I get stranded out on the road, and maybe I've got a flat tire, and I can't change the tire? Maybe the lug nuts won't bend with, or
and you know what else?
He knows exactly where I'm at.
Well, you know what else is great about that too? Not only is it good for like safety, so if somebody, abducted you at the mall or something, you have your phone on you, right? They could track you down.
They'll ping it.
Yes. But the other thing is it helps you find your phone. If you lost your phone, you can go back and find your phone.
I've done that.
That's actually a good thing too, Donna.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got that on mine. It's called Recover My Phone. And
Find My Phone, I think is what it says on the iPhone.
Mine's Recover, and it's a free app. Just type it in, and you can get it either Apple or Android. It doesn't matter. And so I've got all the phones on the account because we pay for Mother's phone too. Just in case. And I freaked out one day. She went somewhere, and I pinged her phone, and first of all, she didn't have her phone.
Oh, wow.
She went out and forgot it, so it was at her house.
All right, well, our show is coming to an end. Thank you so much for watching us. Be sure to catch us right here Monday through Friday on Abundant TV, cable in Northeast Alabama at channel 182. And on Facebook, live or recorded, because we try to keep that updated. And feel free to join our Facebook page as well. And
if
have
you want
a
to
great
see a
afternoon.
repeat of a show, all you got to do is go into search and type in The Edge with Donna and Cathy. And if it was about cooking, well, then just type cooking, and you'll pull up all of our past shows.
And we try to make this fun and informative and things you like to see, hear, and do. Have a great day.
That was the dog. We'll see.